Thanks, Ron. I don't. We'll talk a little bit about where everything has come. I would just say for everybody on this call, like some of the things we're talking about, it sounds like we're just talking about huge companies when we're talking M&A, and we're talking about deal structure, which every deal is different, sizes are different. Most of the people on this call are probably smaller, mid-sized companies. And I just want you to know that I'm currently working on 3 deals right now where the deal structure is 80% or higher cash at close, right? So it's we're talking trends in general where we're going, and M&A. When I say it's going to be really active in freight forwarding, customs house brokerage, that's going to be with the smaller mid-sized companies. So as Ron said, some of these questions look really good. So let me grab, with that said, my crystal ball, right, and look a little bit into what's going to be hot in logistics M&A in 2023. First, logistics in general, as Ron and Janet both talked about. There's a spotlight on freight forwarding, customs house brokerage, and drayage, and everything in the supply chain. That's not going to change in the next few years. So while buyer market or seller market is always who has the power, the sellers, the companies that have built good companies in this space, are going to be sought after greatly in 2023 and beyond. So logistics in general is going to be hot. The non-asset based side of logistics is always been at the higher side of valuation. And that's even stronger today. Freight forwarders, customs house brokers, truck brokers, those companies, demand very high multiples, and without talking multiples, they demand very high valuations, in order for them to sell their company. And as you get more interest in that, more buyers, that drives up prices, obviously, and global supply chains are going to be the talk of 2023 and 2024. Logistics tech is already off to a crazy start. You've probably seen the CargoWise acquisitions, and I think they've 700 million just so far, right? So there's going to be a lot of activity in valuations, and forwarders and customs house brokers who have invested in technology. It's important to tell your story so you get a higher valuation. One of the hottest topics of the last few years that we promised that we would talk about is the digital freight forwarders, that had raised a lot of money with the idea that they were going to disrupt the traditional freight forwarding and customs house brokerage model with technology. First, I respect people who want to drive change. In the 1980s, it was Fritz and Expeditors, right? And other global freight forwarders that were saying, okay, well, we were a small forwarder, but we're going to become this huge company. We're going to use technology to do it. We're going to disrupt the industry, and they did it, right? You look at the Expeditors story and the Fritz story, technology is at the core of their stories. So they were the disruptors of their time, and they made a lot of people very wealthy. In 1995, I was 31 years old and had a Danish co-founder. We'd actually, got drunk on Miami Beach and came up with the idea of a business plan to working for a freight forwarder, traveling all over the world, and doing a lot in South America. And we saw an opportunity, to kind of bring technology, Windows-based, the internet. It was all hitting at that time. People had typewriters. Our company had typewriters on every desk, fax machines everywhere. So I kind of look at, we were the disruptors of that time, and it wasn't just us. There were a lot of people like me, that Richard White in Australia, Hank Ulrich, Chris Crane, Johannes Riga in Germany, Amit Maheshwari in India, Dave Hockersmith, Chuck Schubert. We were all trying to disrupt the industry. And the problem with the digital freight companies now that basically have told investors that we're going to take all this business from these traditional guys, is that the technology that the traditional people are using is getting stronger every single day, with more technology coming into it. And these disruptors that have built their own system, like an Expeditors or a Fritz did in the 1980s, they now have the legacy software, right? And they also, their whole model is, we're a technology company, not a freight company. So, it's, you can't really go buy CargoWise and implement it, or Descartes, or, whatever. So you're gonna see a little, and then also the venture capital and the cost of money for them has gone way up. Their investors are probably getting a little bit more skeptical. I'm not one of the people that likes to throw shade on them, because I do think that they have some great ideas and some ideas that are coming, but I do think 2023 is going to be a difficult year for those companies, and we promise to address that in this webinar. The other big things for just growth, is just, I like to say I'm not an economist, but I'm married to one. I talk international business pretty much most of my waking hours. I enjoy it. It's fun for me. And you're going to see a lot of changes coming just by some of the conflicts from Russia, our largest trading partner. We seem to be going the wrong direction on a couple of things. And, that's made the energy markets gone crazy, which has made project freight forwarding, a great business right now. So there's a lot of that. We're very focused on project freight forwarding. That's very interesting to us. Countries like India, Venezuela, India and Vietnam, sorry, they have an opportunity at the moment to, kind of take it to the next step. The problem is, you can't just move manufacturing plants, to one of those countries, because it still comes down to raw resources. You have to have that, which, it's taken decades to get where we're at with our trading partners, and now it doesn't change overnight. One of the areas though that is changing rapidly, and it's one of our big focuses for 2023, is the southern border of the United States. So if you're strong in the southern border, your phone has got to be ringing right now, right? Because every buyer that we're talking to is eager to do more stuff in the southern border, because their customers are telling them that we're coming back to Mexico, and that could be good for America. That could be good for lots of different issues. But if you're in that space, you're lucky, and congratulations.